Hi, I'm RHYS. Welcome to my video in which I tell you what I have researched, learned, including going through all of my experimentations. This is project free, and editing is my chosen specialism. We need to find one practitioner from classical and contemporary era. Before we get started, you may be wondering, what is the difference between classical and contemporary? Through my research, I have found out that it is a measurement of time. For example, if something was created before the 1970s, it would be considered a classical. Anything created above that time would be contemporary. For classical, I have chosen Blanche Sewell because she was a woman participating in an industry that was mostly male dominant. This makes talking about her more unique, especially considering the time it was set in. Research states she was born on the 27th of October 1898 in America. She is mostly known editing The Wizard of Oz. Yet, she did not live up to see how successful the movie was as she died in 1949. The recent remake was in 2013 called Oz the Great and Powerful. I've seen both the original and remake versions of this movie, especially back in this era. They did not have computers or software. Instead, they had to use a machine called a reel-to-reel to make this film. It was much harder and editing was totally different than how it's done nowadays. In the original, Wizard of Oz, I have chosen two scenes I would like to recreate. A scene where Dorothy was unconscious in her house, another scene where she enters a world of color. Back in them days, color was a big thing in films, so this had a huge impact on the viewers as the film started in black and white. Here you can see I have recreated the scene, I've desaturated visuals and increased the contrast. I've added an effect called Balan to create duplicated faded visuals of me to represent the idea of dizziness. In my next experiment, you can see that I have recreated this scene using more desaturation, adding color, dissolve transition. I have made color appear from a black and white footage. Now what have I learnt recreating these two classical scenes? First of all, I did not know how to add a dizziness effect. I researched on how to make the same multiple images appear. I found that there is an effect called Balan. I will now use this for future projects such as action films. On the screen, you can see I've edited the first experiment. I also learned how to create color appearance. I could have done that by cut and adding color each frame by frame, but that doesn't seem efficient. So I did some research and I found that there is a tradition that does it for you. On screen, you can see how I edited that experiment. The practitioner I have chosen for my contemporary is Sam Calder. I chose him because he is my inspiration to create films. He travels for a living, creating short films or advertisement videos for many different companies, capturing the places he has visited. From research, I found he was born on the 3rd of February 1996 in America. He was mostly known for his travel videos, especially as people found his abilities on editing unique but interesting in a way. Because he not only edits but he also films his videos himself. A video he's mostly known for is called Cold My Year 2016. The way he edits is very advanced and professional looking. Fun fact, when he left school he wanted to join a film school. He did not get accepted, but he still managed to follow his dream. In his My Year video, I recreated the transition scene that happens when the beat drops. He draws and the drawing comes to life. The camera zooms into a world that has just been created. Here is my attempt at trying the same thing. I filmed the same way he did, but at a different location, trying to replicate his editing style with again the color dissolvement and a zoom in transition after that. You are also wondering, before I did any of this, how did I add the picture onto my piece of paper? The piece of paper, I use it as a green screen. Here is a final edit of the sequence. Fun fact, to create this scene, I had to use a hyperlapse, which is a series of photos put together. This part here was not a video. For an example for that formula, there are 25 frames a second. I took 300 photos to make that sequence. To my next experiment, you can see I've recreated another scene from a video he called Code the Creative Process. Here is what I'm trying to recreate. He makes this transition happen by a technique called masking. Masking is a transition that is made to look seamless and unrecognized. I've recreated this using individual green pictures, layering them out frame by frame to what I want to cut out. I then used a green paper, just like what I did in my previous experiment. I replaced the green screen to transparent, which means see-through, nothing there. I then underlapped the video so it was playing at the same rate to what's going on, allowing the viewers to understand what is going on in the visuals. Now, what have I learned creating these two contemporary scenes? I felt for once I have challenged myself in this project, as I was quoted saying, staying in his little box, so I felt like I needed to step out of that. I have managed to expand past that, exploring my possibilities and increasing my creative mind. I feel that I can do much more. Here was the most challenging because I wasn't fully expecting it to work, but I tried it anyway. Luckily, I also did not need green paper, I just needed one simple color. I could improve this by making the footage much more smoother, but I'm proud of what I have achieved. Thank you for listening, and this is Project Free.